Welcome to another edition of 42 Straight Years In. On my crackhead update, Lion Willis stopped by this morning. Him and his pretty little girlfriend, they ate breakfast. I cooked breakfast for all of us, and he had a hell of a spin this morning. He said the recent snowstorms in Texas was test. The Martian was just testing Texas Reserve to see how they'll function with a calamity, and Texas failed miserably. That was just a slight snowstorm. That East Coast, they get this all the time. They used to it. Texas couldn't even handle it. He said they were just testing, so when they get ready to invade Texas, they can tell by what type of resistance they'll receive. And he said the end times is almost near. He said the Martians are lining up, they're getting ready, they preparing. He said they were just showing President Biden and Governor Abbott what they can really do. They can change the weather patterns and all that. Well, he had a lot more stuff, but I don't want to take up my whole video discussing Lion Willie. Yeah, that's my crackhead update. Y'all know what it is. Get your shanks out and let's ride. Years ago in Texas prison, a lot of these modern diseases and Texas prisons, the medical personnel were inmates. Out at those prison units were inmates. They ran the prison infirmary. And I've said before in previous videos, at the Ramsey unit, for a short period of time, I worked in the warden's office. His name was Wildcat, Warden J.B. Anderson. And one of my duties is when the chain bus arrives in the morning time, is to be out at the chain bus to get to receive the guy's record so I could take it in and start typing up his housing report and place his file with the rest of the Ramsey unit inmates' records. And they had this guy, man, the bus pulled up, we out waiting, some inmate guards standing out, big bears out there, a couple more of the beat 'em up squad. They had a policy back in the day, if you got transferred for messing up at another prison, well, they would touch you up when you make it to your next prison. And the bus pulled up, only one guy got off the bus, and we could look at him and tell he got new clothes on. He just came from the diagnostic unit. He's never been to another prison unit. Plus, I already got the warden already received a teletype on basically your file, what type of inmate you are. They give him a brief synopsis of your case, so they do know something about you, even before they read your record. They know what inmates is coming to that prison. And they took the handcuffs off this guy, and Burr walked over and asked him what is his name. It's wrote right on his shirt and his prison number. And I'm standing there, I work in the count room, and I got a clipboard. Back then, they didn't have IDs. Wasn't no such thing as an ID in a Texas prison. They just went by your name and your number. It's wrote on your front of your shirt and the back of your pants was your name and your prison number. It was an orange tag. And I'm looking at this guy. I can tell if something is wrong with him. I can tell he got serious problems. I asked him, I said, hey man, what's your name? I gotta ask you that even though it's on your clothes, I still gotta ask you anyway, so I can check you off. And he told him his name. Then he said, fuck you, you motherfucker. I'm looking at this dude. I said, man, this dude know where he at, man. He can get beat up right here at this bus. I'm not going to do it. But the other guys standing here, man, if they hear that, man, they will beat you down at this bus. They will introduce you to the Ramsey unit. You don't even want that, what they got planned for you, dude. You don't even want it. And I looked at him. Man, something is wrong with this guy here. So we get in, go inside the building. We take him to the chain room. That's where all newly arrived inmates wait until the warden get to interview them. And that afternoon, they get to go see Red Ryder get assigned to one of the field work squads. And also, once he get in the chain room, I got to go get his size or his clothes and go down to the laundry. So make sure they got his size and they put his name and number and stuff on his clothes. So when he come in from work in the evening, he can go right to his box and get his clothes. And I go down to the chain room. He's sitting down. I say, hey man, what size you were? That dude, he looked at me and he said, man, why is you asking me all these questions? I said, say, man, you probably don't know nothing about a prison, man. I say, but that's my job assignment to ask you these questions, man. I said, you ain't got to answer if you don't want to. I said, you ain't got to answer. I said, I'm a little bit different than the rest of these guys. I just go get Barry. He'll make you answer. I said, you got an option, man. He said, well, I don't care about who you go get, man. I ain't telling nobody what size clothes I wear. It ain't none of your business. All right, don't worry about it. So I go over there and tell Barry, I say, hey, man, I just left the chain room, and this new guy won't tell me his size. He said, all right. He said, come on, let's go down there. So evidently, I don't, the county this guy from ain't told him about inmate guards. You ain't gonna, there's one guard working in the whole hallway at Ramsey. Just one guard, that's it. Inmates run everything. All the guards are inmates. And Big Bear run the whole prison. So anyway, we get down there to the jail, to the chain room. Bear unlocked the door and walked in the chain room. He said, hey, man, I ain't come down here to bullshit with you. You tell this man what size you were, or I'll kick the shit out of you. You say it don't make me no difference. Either way you want it. He said, man, I ain't worried about nobody kicking me. I mean, this is a kind of, he ain't no big guy. But Bear is 6'8", 340. Yeah, he's a big dude. And at the time, Bear was young and in good physical shape. So, if you want to go up against this guy here and you weighing maybe a cool $165, well, go ahead and try your luck. And Bear reached and got him in his collar. I went to slapping him, boy. He went to screaming for Mama, God. He was quoting the scripture. He was asking about Muhammad. He praying to everybody. He's screaming so loud, he turnkeys out in the hallway start laughing. This dude was screaming. Then finally let him go. He chatted me, he said, man, I don't mean no harm, man. I got Tourette's. I was saying, what the hell is Tourette's? He said, man, I got Tourette, man. I don't mean no harm. Then he did that little thing. Fuck you, you motherfucker. Bear got right on his ass again. He go back to screaming and hollering. Boy, he's screaming for dear life. So finally, Cat show up. So I'm in the office typing up the reports. And for a newly arrived inmate. So Bear coming in and tell Cat, he said, I got you a real live one, Warden. He said, you going to love this guy here. He said, this zombie, he'll curse you out. He won't stop cursing you out. He said, I done went out there and whooped his ass. He said, I just went light on him. He said, but he won't stop cursing. So Bear said, go down there and get this inmate. I want to see this crazy skill. Go get it. So Bear go down to the chain room and bring him down. He coming down to see Cat. Cat say, he walked in, he said, how you doing, inmate? He said, Warden, I ain't doing so good. He said, this big motherfucker here, he jumped me. He said, well, that's his job. He said, then you curse him out? Fuck you. Cat said, what did you say? He looked at me and said, say, what? I got Tourette's. He said, it's uncontrollable. He said, I can't stop it. He said, I got Tourette syndrome. He said, so it make me do this. He said, I don't mean to be no harm. He said, I can't control it. Fuck you. Cat said, call the infirmary. Now, inmates work in the infirmary. And he called the infirmary and asked him, say, what's the deal on this guy's medical record? Because Cat don't see it on his file. He got your whole medical file. It show he have seizures. So he asked the inmate who work in the infirmary, he said, what is Tourette syndrome? So that guy looked it up real fast and explained to Cat what Tourette syndrome was. And this guy got all the symptoms, uncontrolled outbursts. He can't stop it from doing it. So Cat telling me, he said, man, I will have to transfer you from here. He said, you will get killed here. He said, if I send you out in the whole squad, he said, if you tell, oh Lord, one of my field guards, just what you said to me, he said, oh Lord would shoot you. If you told him that same thing, you'll get shot. He said, so I don't want to see you get killed. I'm going to lock you up in the jailhouse and we'll transfer you. Ramsey transferred a lot of guys. If you was not productive and can work and had any medical issue, they was not going to keep you at that prison. They wanted people who can work. They don't need nobody with medical problems. Nobody there had medical problems. Everybody was in top flight condition and in good shape. You know, a lot of people had mental issues, but it wasn't so outgoing as this guy. He ain't got a mental issue. He got Tourette syndrome. And they didn't know what the hell Tourette syndrome was. And so Cat said, gonna put you in a jailhouse. He asked me, say, well, Warden, will I be able to eat? He said, yeah. He told me, he said, make sure this guy eat. Make sure he gets some food. So it's still in the morning time. We done ate breakfast already. It's about 10. So they could already start feeding chow for the people who ain't got to go out in the fields. For the laundry workers in the furniture factory and the outside trustees, all those guys is eating. They got to get fed before the field workers come in. Field workers are the last one to eat. So they placed this guy in the jailhouse. So I go in the chow hall, get him a tray, get a pitcher of juice, and take it over there to the jailhouse to him. And there's nowhere to sit down in the jailhouse. You got to sit down on the floor. There's no bed, no nothing in there. There's no water to drink. It's nothing. It's just like a old 1840 jail. There's nothing in that cell. And I take him the tray. Man, he dropped the tray. He did that look. I handed him the tray. He did that. Fuck. He dropped the food. I said, oh, man. So one of the hall porters, I tell him come over there. He cleaned it up. So I got to go get this dude another tray. So I tell him, I say, hey, man, just sit down, man. I'll slide the tray to you. Just sit down on the floor, man. Let me hand you the tray, man. If you drop another tray, you going to starve. I'm not going to get you another tray, dude. And the next morning, as soon as I got to go to work, Cat had left a note for me to put this guy on a chain. And I got to pull his file that's going to be transferred with him. And I go in the office, pull his file. I go down to the jailhouse. And the night turnkeys hadn't fed him breakfast. So I went to the officer's dining room and got him something to eat. Let them make some good roast beef sandwiches. And he sitting there and ate. Drink him a couple cups of coffee. He smoked cigarettes back then. You could smoke. I didn't smoke. I didn't start smoking cigarettes till I was 34 years old. I didn't smoke back then. I didn't drink coffee. I didn't do nothing. May drink a cup of chocolate. That was it. I didn't have no habits. And I go get him a couple cigarettes. And I sit and talk to him, man. He really was a pretty decent guy, but had Tourette syndrome and he couldn't control the stuff that he blurted out of his mouth. He just couldn't control it. And he would have had a hard time at Ramsey. I mean, he'd have had it extra hard. Because they didn't do no babysitting at that prison. None whatsoever. They didn't care nothing about your medical problem. They still wasn't going to go light on him. And y'all follow me over on Patreon. The link is in the description. Yeah, I'm having a problem with my Wi-Fi. My upload speed is 0.8. Man, I can't upload. It take me 10 hours to upload one video. So I'm going to have to get I'm going to have to get the business Wi-Fi. Because this regular Wi-Fi, my upload, that's what I need is to upload. And that's hurting my Patreon. I can't upload. And one of my patrons told me about copy and paste. Well, I try to keep content on my Patreon. Y'all like and subscribe and smash that like button up. It ain't hurting you one bit. I know some of y'all, man, you can just hit the like button. It ain't gonna hurt you. It don't cost you nothing. Y'all like and subscribe. And I thank you for watching.